Happy Monday, everybody. You're listening to the Personal Playlist Podcast, fondly referred to as the P3 on Voice Ed Radio. I'm Noah Daniel.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand.
I am so excited to have Evin Schwartz here on the Personal Playlist Podcast. Evin is the CEO and founder of Beluga, a digital platform providing teachers and students with the ability to connect, communicate, and collaborate with their peers around the world. The platform is driven by interactive content that gives all users an experience to learn about the world with the world. Evin is a startup exec with 13 plus years of experience overseeing business development, marketing, and operations with marketplace and social innovation focused companies. He has extensive experience working with the Gen Y and Gen Z demographic and has looked to connect these audiences with business strategies focused on social impact. He believes a simple connection can make a tremendous difference in understanding and accepting other cultures around the world. Welcome to the show, Evin.
Hey, Noah. Thanks for having me today.
I'm so happy that you're here. Actually, our connections began when I first listened to you on The Missing Link with Rolla. And then Michael Drezick and I recorded his P3 and he's like, oh, you know who you have to meet? And you and I basically had a video conference and went through all the different ways that we could make connections. And it's been super fun since. I'm so happy to have had you on the On Ed Mentor show recently. Did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, it was fantastic. And I'll tell you, it was nice to see Michael and Rolla there as well. It feels like as big as this education, especially global education community is, it's really a pretty small world. So tapping in and, going way back, but seeing that full circle to be able to bring everyone together to have a discussion a few weeks back was awesome.
It is wonderful to bring everyone together.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So the biggest thing for preparation on that one specifically, geared towards the SDGs and having a great team member on my side, Erin Dowd, who's a global educator and handles all content and educational strategy, was really focused on how we push the SDGs forward over the next 10 years, understanding that 2030 is not so far away and there's a lot of work to get done. So we have the luxury on our side of working with different organizations every single day that are pushing the needle forward, both in and out of the classroom, to really create sustainable development, both locally and globally. So there's a lot of preparation on our side, for the last few years, really getting to understand and unpack the SDGs. But we had the easy job, I think, going in on the conversation a few weeks back and really just sharing the great stories of educators, students, organizations from around the world that are making big differences on a day-to-day basis.
One of the things that is so interesting about having conversations with people on the Personal Playlist Podcast is you also get to hear the connections and the work that people are doing. And I think you're right about it being a big world and a small world at the same time in terms of what people can say that can give you that line that makes you feel like I totally get that person or I understand that feeling. What was it like preparing your songs for the show?
Oh, no, I'll tell you, you brought me down a time machine. It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm just a huge music fan. I think you and me bonded over that immediately. But going back, I mean, there's so many different genres that I listen to every single day. And I think it really, shapes the day on my side too. I mean, weather definitely has something to do with it. Workflow on the day definitely has something to do with it. I think the day overall, whether it's a Monday or a Friday, and I'll tell you on our side, I absolutely love Mondays over Fridays. And I hate to be that guy. But just more opportunity and new experiences on a day-to-day basis every single Monday. But really going down on it, looking at nostalgic from really like my childhood back in the 90s and trying to pinpoint, one song that really leads into experience and then going into pick-me-ups and representation. I mean, we'll unpack all that stuff after, but just kind of taking a step back. I think all of us, are constantly streaming music every single day, and it's, the soundtrack to our lives in so many words, but really being able to reflect on it and how a song can actually transform an experience or a moment for an individual was a pretty cool experience. So kudos to you for making that happen.
Well, thank you. But every person brings their own story through their song choices. And as soon as I saw yours, I got really nostalgic. When your song came out that's nostalgic, I was actually working for a record company, a distributor, and this album couldn't stay on the shelves. Like, it was just one of those things, a perfect synthesis, like you were saying about timing and so many things ahead. This is a genre that was really kind of negative, and yet somehow the way the music came and the timing that it had made it like a Grammy Award winning alternative album. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came to this song by this band?
Yeah, so I'll tell you. So back, I think the album came out, 1994-ish,
Mm-hmm.
in that range. So Green Day, the Dookie album, and the song is When I Come Around. But looking at it, from that side, that was my first CD ever. I think previously before that, we were running it back with cassettes. Wow. And I just got, like this really cool boombox, and what I thought was a cool boombox now, probably the size of 5 laptops now, basically. But looking at it, had this really cool thing, was a young kid at the time, and said, wow, I need some music to play on this so I don't have to listen to cassettes and to the radio 24/7. I went over to a record store, which, again, throwback in itself. And these I'll never forget. Like, me and my buddies used to live a few blocks away, so on weekends and even after school, used to ride up there, go through the store, like basically just, what kids do, like linger around in the best way possible. This one specifically was called The Wall. And The Wall, I don't know if they were national or anything along those lines, but it was definitely within New York, where The Wall, at the end of a purchase, every time you bought a CD or a cassette, they would give you a little sticker to put on the back of the CD or the cassette, like the box itself. And it was good for life. And that blue sticker was like the coolest thing possibly to have. So I remember like that sticker, very, very, powerful for me in those days. Like, oh man, we're like official Wall merchandise here. But Green Day, I'll tell you, like that was just an album that, like you said, I mean, it transformed, I think, one decade, honestly, like going from grunge to 90s alternative a bit.
Definitely.
And just overall rock. But I mean, like I personally, honestly, had a tough time picking out which song on that album. But I think When I Come Around just, kind of represents like experience, especially as a teenager and growing up and kind of, going through those brand new experiences and kind of finding yourself. So it was just like a really cool, just kind of kick ass album more than anything else that I'll tell you, like I still run it back and every single one of those songs is still a banger. So like, just thinking about, pressing play on the cassette, on the CD, listening into with friends and, just like reflecting on those early days, honestly, and I hate to say this too, because I'm dating myself, but like the pre-internet days where everything just felt simple, that's really kind of what this record was to me.
You know what? Every single song is amazing. I listen to it often. I actually really love this album. But let's play your nostalgic song. Thank you for painting such an amazing picture of this, like Billy Joe Armstrong songs that were compiled very much about his personal experiences and really spoke to so many people about their lives. When I Come Around by Green Day.
You crying loud all the way across town. You've been searching for that someone that is beyond the crowd. That just sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Well, don't get lonely now and try your white eyes. I'm just hoping for the moment. And my back up the target. So uptight you've been thinking about ditching me. No time that turns the world around. 'Cause you know where I'll be found when I come around. Oh, I heard it all before. I'm a loser and a user, so it's only no accuser to try and slag me down because I know you're right. So go do what you like.
was fun.
That brought back memories right there, and you just made my Monday that much better.
Oh, I love Mondays too, by the way, and I have so much to look forward to. And what's interesting about listening to the P3 on Mondays is it sets the tone for hopefully lots of people to not just celebrate themselves, but their lives and their interests, and to know that who they are really matters, and that music really matters as a conduit to all of that. When you were looking for an identity song, how did you land on this one?
Great question. So this one was actually the easiest one for me. So Tom Petty is my favorite artist of all time. Like everything that he's done in his career has just spoken to me personally. I got introduced to Tom Petty, I think, when I first got to college by one of my really good friends, and just ran down like greatest hits Tom Petty and absolutely fell in love with that album. So this one, Tom Petty Wildflowers, is actually not with the band itself. So Tom Petty put out a few different albums on his own, aside from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And Wildflowers, personally, to me, just hit home on every single account possible. It's like Green Day. There's a ton of songs I could have chosen from Tom Petty. Learning to Fly was one of them that definitely ran in my mind. But Wildflowers just seemed to hit personally. It's interesting, too, just kind of the meaning and the lyrics within Wildflowers, but looking at it, to me, it really spoke. And, carve your own pathway, right? That's the biggest thing that I take away from that is, not everyone is meant for a certain route and doesn't have to go by cultural standards and, what's right and happy-go-lucky, go get them, that type of attitude. You're able to carve your own path. And I think that's one of the biggest things really that we need to focus on today, more than ever, is there's one at bat here, right? And I think you and me had a conversation about this previously too, is everyone's doing amazing things, and don't feel that you need to, impress anyone to get, we'll call it satisfaction or personal, I'll just like personal reward, honestly. Like everything that people are doing is valuable. And I think we need to celebrate the individual a little bit more. In Wildflowers, one of the biggest lines is that, you belong amongst wildflowers. I think that one in itself just kind of paints like this big picture of an open field and, kind of shifting away from dark gray society, we'll call it, just into like this colorful atmosphere that really expresses creativity. And for me personally, just kind of the ride as an entrepreneur, and give you a little bit more backstory, but I kind of worked corporate, we'll say, quote unquote, for about 2 weeks in my life. So not necessarily like carved out for that environment. And I remember never, leaving college, have this like corporate mentality in my mind, experienced it for a very, very short time. And I'll never forget this one. I'm in New York, riding on the train, headed back home, and I just looked around and saw zombies, right? Like the same old faces. And that was the biggest realization that I cannot personally do this and dedicate my life to it. And no, knock on it whatsoever, 99.9% of my family and friends do it and are very successful at it. But for me, they were just a little bit different pathway. So going through the entrepreneur journey and understanding that, you're your biggest cheerleader, right? And if you're able to believe in it and, find your passions, that everything does work out. And not in like, this Disney unicorns and rainbows types of way. There's a lot of grinds and, you get dragged through the mud and chewed up a lot. But more than anything, it's really just to express your own creativity and your own passions.
Yeah. And like I have 100 Tom Petty songs in my head, but if you go into that great wide open and you appreciate that idea that you have this uniqueness and that your offering has a place among those wildflowers and that everything is possible. It's not the Disney idea. It's bigger in some ways than that idea because it's not a perfect package, right? Wildflowers don't have perfect packages, but they have place and they have space and they add so much to the world. Thank you for telling us the story of that song. Let's play this song. I'm actually going to ask your permission to use the video, not from the official video, but the last live video, because he played this song in the concert the week before he passed away. Is that okay if I use that in the blog post?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, no, I actually saw him about a month before that concert. That was the last time I saw him live.
I'm so sad. Like, I'm still really sad. I'm not quite over it. Anyway, let's play it. Wildflowers by Tom Petty.
the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, find you a lover. Go away, somewhere all bright and new. I have seen no other who compares with you. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love on your arm. You belong somewhere you feel free.
It's good to feel free, and it's good to be, self-directed. And if it works for you, entrepreneurship is certainly a path that some people they couldn't do it any other way. And it's nice to hear that you've embraced it so much. But sometimes days are hard, and sounds like Fridays can be like that for you sometimes. So you need a pick-me-up song. And besides having like this be a wonderful feature at weddings and bar mitzvahs, this song really gained popularity in one of the, wildest, most wonderful National Lampoon movies of all time. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your song?
Yeah, you nailed it. It was so funny. So I was speaking with my wife the other night about this, and again, there's so many different options to go here. Like, what kind of pick me up are we really talking about? Is this a happy-go-lucky feel good, or am I, getting myself pumped up to basically, fire on all cylinders? And we just started thinking about this and laughing how crazy this song actually is, and the association, with Animal House. You mentioned the National Lampoon's movie, and some of the listeners might even know it already. But it's Otis Day and a Night Shout, and to me, it's just one of those songs that is just perfect, right? Like, I think it's one of the greatest songs of all time, and I'm not knocking anything, right? Like, my dad's gonna kill me just for saying that he's a diehard Beatles fan. But looking at it, this song to me, represents everything that is good. So there's a lot of backstory with this one. Obviously, the first time I've ever heard this song was Animal House, watching it as a teenager again. So reflecting and even going more nostalgic now. But just saying wow, that is the best party of all time, right? What would it actually be like, to be in that disgusting house? And my parents and my friends will tell you this too. My college house was exactly like that. So I found out pretty closely, the goods and the bads of it. But I think it brought, kind of full circle, came around, like you said, the wedding era. And I'm kind of on the back of that era now. Most of my friends are married and have kids and all that good stuff, and a lot of growing up. But that one, to me, every single time you hear it, just brought together people, right? So you played at a wedding, everyone's on a dance floor 24/7 and just happy, right? I'll give you another little story about this one. So at my wedding, this was my request. Guys, you have to play the longest version possible of it. And my wife fully signed off on that one too. She was thrilled on it. So epic shout, people are rolling on the floor, spraying, liquid everywhere, right? Drinks. It was just it was incredible. And then at the very end, we do a nice little encore. Everyone's chanting with this awesome band. Everyone's chanting one more song. And they pause. They're all right, we'll give into this. The music stops. I look at my wife. She looks at me, and everyone's just waiting. She looks at me. She goes, shout. I say, shout. The band looks at us and just starts playing, and it was the perfect moment. So we had shout played twice at our wedding, both absolutely epic. But just to me, represents exactly what cutting back should be, relaxing, having fun with friends, coming together, and just that perfect song as a pick-me-up.
Okay, let's play it. Otis Day and the Night Shout.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my hands make me wanna lift my head up and throw my hands back and come on now, come on now, come on now. A little bit softer now, a little bit now, a little bit softer 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 now, a little bit louder 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 now.
I can't believe that was the actual version from Animal House. I was listening to them yelling, "Hey, Otis!" That's so cool.
I don't know if there's another high quality version out there, to be honest.
I don't know, but I'm thrilled. How do you feel about sharing your 3 songs with me today?
I love it. I mean, like, you absolutely made my day. I'm thinking and reflecting on them now. Like, you literally just in the last 10 minutes or so walked through my childhood, college years, and adult years. So you nailed it with those 3.
I'm so happy, but it's your story, so you nailed it, man. I'm glad that you used this platform to share exactly what you wanted to share, exactly how you wanted to share it. How can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter. That's probably my biggest social time sink, we'll call it. At Evin Schwartz, EvinSchwartz. You check out Beluga. It's BELOUGA.org. And on Facebook and Twitter, we are at Beluga_.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Is there anything you want to add before I play you out?
That's it. No, I mean, you've been awesome. I really enjoyed this half hour and looking forward to, hearing more from the network as well on what songs represent them also.
Okay, well, stay tuned to the show. We come out every Monday, but I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thanks, Noah. Take care.
Thank you for joining us on the P3, the Personal Playlist Podcast. I'm Noah Daniel. This is Voice Ed Radio, and I hope you have a fantastic day.